Ibrahim Traore has changed Africa forever. I mean, he's got foreigners literally waiting to for his protection. Well, technically, Jamaicans are Africans. But still, what's his secret? How did he succeed where so many African leaders failed? And to find out, I spent a full week binge-watching videos about his journey and diving into hundreds of comments from his global supporters. And 100 videos later, I uncovered something mind-blowing. 3 game-changing traits that make Ibrahim Traore the leader young Africans have been craving since Gaddafi's brutal by Western powers. But before we look at these traits, we need to figure out who exactly Ibrahim Traore is, why a military coup was probably his best option, and finally answer Google's most searched question: who is Ibrahim Traore's wife?
What?
I mean, who will search that? All the single ladies. But the good news is, he's very married. So, who is Ibrahim Traore? You smart head knows he is Africa's youngest president at 36 and a battle-tested artillery captain who made jihadists run for their lives. But here's where it gets interesting. While most African leaders are brainwashed with Western education and turned into remote-controlled zombies, Traore is 100% homegrown Burkinabe talent. No wonder he couldn't stand by and watch Western puppets run his motherland into the dirt. And this brings us to September 2022, the pivotal moment when Ibrahim Traore led a military coup, ousting another military coup leader, Paul-Henri Damiba. Now, was another coup really necessary? Probably. I mean, Burkina Faso was literally turning into a
real whole country in Africa.
Just kidding, guys, just kidding. But hear me out. Since 2015, jihadist violence had forced over 2 million Burkinabe from their homes, with the government controlling a mere 60% of its own territory. And it gets worse, as all this chaos was unfolding right under the noses of a French military base, which did absolutely nothing to help. So it's no surprise the people were furious, and boy did they let the French know it.
We want them to go back. We're tired of them. The French ambassador, we want him to go back. The soldiers in Camboinsin, we all want them to go back. Let them free Burkina.
With the situation in Burkina Faso massively deteriorating, you can hardly blame Traore for taking drastic actions. But the real question is, what's changed since Traore took over? Well, why don't you take a look for yourself?
The government of Burkina Faso, under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, will see the West African country construct a nuclear plant to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and traditional sources of energy, is undertaking the development of an integrated pharmaceutical park in Kokologo, has undertaken an ambitious initiative to establish a domestic gold refinery, launched the construction of a tomato processing plant in Burkina Faso, has launched the mobile health clinics that are offering free healthcare to the most rural areas of the country. He put his words to action, launching agricultural mechanization projects, with the government of Burkina Faso procuring tractors that help farmers till their land for free, launched the Central Bank of Burkina Faso, abolished the use of French as the official language of Burkina Faso, has committed to redeveloping the country's infrastructure using military convoys backed by engineering brigades to open roads to countryside locations like Djibo, which was once totally cut off from mainland Burkina Faso.
You tell me, what is there not to love about the leader who is ready to risk it all for the good of his people? And this brings us to the first trait that makes Ibrahim Traore a rock star among African youth. But to understand this, let's travel back to August 4, 1983, when the ultimate revolutionary, Thomas Sankara, lit up Burkina Faso.
Upper Volta, 1983. Thomas Sankara is brought to power by a coup supported by one of the poorest peoples on our planet. Behind a military uniform and a Marxist discourse, Africa discovers a young and dynamic leader, ready to put his innovative ideas at the service of his fellow citizens.
And at a time when challenging colonial powers was basically signing your own death warrant, boy oh boy did Sankara massively shake things up.
Thomas Sankara gives a new name to his country, Burkina Faso, which means the land of upright men.
Qui ici ne souhaite pas que la dette soit purement et simplement effacée? Celui qui ne le souhaite pas, il peut sortir, prendre son avion et aller tout de suite à la Banque mondiale payer.
And his fearless takedown of Western colonialism was a true game changer in Africa.
Little by little, Sankara takes his country out of misery, achieves food self-sufficiency, but clashes with the French who want to keep control over their former colonies. Above all, they want to avoid by all means that Sankara's ideas spread throughout the region.
La France ne comprend pas l'Afrique et il est grand temps qu'elle la comprenne.
But tragically, on October 15, 1987, the revolution was brutally cut short.
Thomas Sankara is attacked by those in the north as well as in the south who benefit from Africa's underdevelopment. His closest collaborator, Blaise Compaoré, with the support of foreign powers, will betray him. For his ideas, Thomas Sankara has become the African Che in the eyes of African youth today.
Pour le grand combat patriotique, pour l'avenir radieux de notre pays, la patrie ou la mort, nous vaincrons.
Now, fast forward to today, and finally, fearless African leadership is back.
Ce continent qui a tant souffert et qui continue.
This continent has suffered so much and continues to suffer because of imperialists.
Ces impérialistes n'ont qu'un seul cliché.
These imperialists have only one cliché in mind. Africa is the empire of slaves.
C'est comme ça qu'ils voient l'Afrique. Pour eux,
This is how they see Africa. For them, Africans belong to them. Our lands belong to them. Our subsoil belongs to them. They have never been able to change the logic until today. This is deplorable.
I mean, doesn't Ibrahim Traore sound shockingly similar to Sankara?
Il y en a qui demandent mais où se trouve l'impérialisme? L'impérialisme, regardez dans vos assiettes quand vous mangez les grains de riz, de maïs, de mil importés. C'est ça l'impérialisme. N'allez pas plus loin.
Traore has truly picked up where Sankara left off, embodying his spirit of uncompromising African leadership.
These local valets, which we are going to call today the slaves of Salon, have other goals. They want to live like the master, to satisfy the master, and to do everything that the master dictates to them.
He leads a new generation of African youth standing firm against Western neocolonialism, their frustrations, desires, and aspirations no longer silenced. And speaking of frustrations, imagine having to explain TikTok to your dear grandma. Not that you mind teaching her. She's your lovely grandma after all.
Y'all just shut up.
Well, not so lovely, but still, the cultural disconnect is painfully evident as you are from the era of TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, while grandma is stuck in the age of rotary phones and snail mail. And where am I going with this? So, according to Africa's demographics, the median age is just 19.2 years. Yet, the continent is governed by relics like 82-year-old Obiangema of Equatorial Guinea, 91-year-old Paul Biya of Cameroon, and 80-year-old Sassou Nguesso of Congo. You've got the world's youngest continent ruled by some of the oldest leaders alive. Talk about a massive disconnect. But being young doesn't automatically make someone a good leader. I mean, just look at how France has turned into a hot mess under the gross inexperience of young Emmanuel Macron. However, Ibrahim Traore brings something refreshingly different to the table. His educational and military background, combined with a genuine connection to the people, help him truly bridge the generational divide. He understands the dreams and frustrations of young Africans in a way the hopelessly out of touch old guard of African leadership simply cannot. And speaking of dreams, who wouldn't want theirs to come true? I mean, my dream is to build a vibrant community of viewers as passionate about making Africa great again as I am.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Alright, you got me. I also want that shiny new 2022 Range Rover. But that will only be possible through consistent work and by giving you all quality content.
Grind, hustle, This is when you put in the grinding hours.
And just as I am committed to delivering valuable content to this community, Africa needs leaders committed to delivering real results to their people. Instead, empty promises and rampant corruption from current leaders have left young Africans so desperate they risk their lives crossing oceans in search of a false European El Dorado.
70,000 migrants are expected to attempt the journey this year. It has become a multi-million-dollar business. Facing days and even weeks on the open ocean. Some will make it, but thousands of others will try.
But all hope isn't lost, guys. Leaders like Ibrahim Traore are proving that real lasting change is possible, and it's not through empty rhetoric, but through concrete action. And his track record backs it up. From revolutionizing mining and agriculture to developing vital infrastructure, he's demonstrating what robust, result-driven leadership looks like. Sure, one person can't single-handedly transform an entire continent, but Traore's approach shows that Africa's future can be shaped by leaders willing to match their words with tangible results. And these, my friends, are the 3 reasons why we love Ibrahim Traore.